Hello, hi. So I yesterday had this incredible urge to do a kind of a review of the INFJ function stack. I'm not sure why, I just had this impulse that I just really wanted to go through it again because I was thinking a lot about how the ENTPs and ENFPs have a different way of showing or presenting their thinking process, and I just thought that was something that reminded me that wait, there's some things that I still need to review with myself about the INFJ function stack, and maybe we can go a little bit into the ENTPs and ENFPs as well. So the INFJ function stack is NIFE TISE. So the way I experience this function stack mostly is me walking around, looking around, observing the world, constantly thinking about the meaning of life, the meaning of humanity, how it's all connected, how we're human beings, and what is the purpose for life, what is the reason for this, what is the reason for that, help me understand this, I want to understand that. And it kind of all goes into a artistic kind of filter for me. For me, I've always just looked at life and seen it as this one great mystery that needs to be solved, this one great puzzle, if you will, and it needs to be solved in order for me to relay that message to the rest of humanity through some sort of artistic lens. Now, I don't know why I have this impulse to be creative. I guess the creativity and the artistic aspect of me, like the creative aspect of me, comes from needing to I guess is having ideas, like constantly having ideas like, oh, wouldn't it be interesting if we rearranged this into this? Or wouldn't it be interesting if we made this look like this? And I think it's from observation and understanding the world around me and understanding how things can be rearranged. And that's what it really is. What art really is just finding meaning through rearrangement, really, because art really is a rearrangement of things, right? Now, people can go on and on about the definition of art, but for me, it's sort of just a rearranging of things and presenting it in a new way. And I guess with INFJs, this comes naturally because we're constantly observing the world around us and understanding things and going hey, wouldn't it be interesting if we changed, rearranged this, colors, or rearranged the way our clothes look in order to portray a new meaning or just make it look nice, Now, why I have this personality, why I present it in that way, is still a mystery to me, and I'm still trying to understand all of that. But I think for the most part, it's just having ideas and wanting to show them to the rest of the world because I'm wow, this is a really interesting idea, let me put it out into the world. And I think that's kind of where how my personality functions, and that's how I put myself into the world. And I guess that goes into the FE. It's okay, I have all these ideas now, I have to put it out there for other people to see, for them to learn from it, or to maybe mostly to learn from it, or to maybe have an inspirational moment so that they can go out and share more ideas. And I think that's really what that's all about. And this comes off, I feel really as just a one big self-worshipping video, and I'm not trying to do that. I'm really stream of consciousness really right now, talking just to get these ideas out of my head because it's just been whirling around in there for a bit. Now, the introverted thinking and the extroverted sensing, I feel the introverted thinking comes out in ways where I need to solve issues, where I have understanding of humanity and the world around me, and now I have to solve these issues with humanity and the world around me. And this introverted thinking kicks in where I have to be logical about things. I can't just go off of my emotions to solve these problems. And as I age, I find that this introverted thinking aspect of me comes out more and more in my everyday life. And I can come off as harsh or cold sometimes because I have this developed introverted thinking. And I lean into it because I guess because I'm a man and it's something that is expected of me sometimes, I feel like, although I try not to pressure myself with external expectations, I do fall into that category and that stereotype quite a bit, that it overdevelops a part of me that I don't think is meant to be on the forefront, namely the introverted thinking. The SE, I've always had SE from the very start. I feel like this is something that I've always just possessed and was something that I really focused on growing up. I loved sports. I loved moving around. Physical education was one of my favorite things to do in school. Like, I always felt cocky when I was doing PE. I felt like that was kind of my element. But it wasn't until later that I found that, yes, it's a very big part of who I am, and it still is. I love working out. I love learning about how I can improve my physical body and how I can make it better. And I like feeling, I love the feeling of exercise, and I have a fascination with martial arts and understanding that, and self-defense, really, and not learning how to beat somebody up, but how to be able to defend oneself in the most kind way, really, and which is why I'm so fascinated with the Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and I recommend everybody look into that, because it's not brutal. There's no physical, like, you're not harming anybody, really. If you really want to learn it for self-defense, you're not learning it to harm anybody. You're really learning it to put everyone's safety into consideration. You're putting yourself and the other person, because with jiu-jitsu, it's sort of like it's called the soft art, which I think that's what it translates into. Jiu-jitsu, it's just like the soft art or something. I might be saying that wrong, but yeah, it's all about protecting other people and yourself, and being able to control the enemy in a physical way through body connections and through managing distance. And it's like wrestling, but you're not really like hurting anyone. You're just making sure that you can hold on to somebody, or that's like the easiest way I can communicate that. And I think when I try to introduce this, people think it's like, oh, so brutal, like you're hurting each other. Really, if you're learning for self-defense, there's no attacking, there's no striking. It's really just control. It's just being able to hold and to make sure people aren't going to attack, punch you or strangle you. It's really, yeah. Please look into this. I really do recommend it. But anyway, I'm going off on a tangent. Yeah, and so that's another way I experience extrovert sensing. It's through the martial arts, through physical exercise. I think these things are all fascinating, and I have all these interests that stem from the way my brain works and the way my brain needs to experience the world, and it's very rewarding. Understanding who you are and what you're good at and what you're meant to do is like one of the greatest things, which is why I'm still really I'm passionate about this MBTI thing, because I've just found that it's been so helpful for me to understand who I am and to have a clear picture about how I want to proceed in life moving forward. Because the more that I understand who I am on a scientific level, I mean, some would argue that it's not scientific, it's mostly psychobabble, but I think it's based on some kernel of truth, because the amount of life-changing things that have happened because I understand MBTI is it's too much good information to not share. hence me making this channel. And this is me just stream of conscious, really just sharing this information. This is how I experience the INFJ function stack. And I really would be interested in hearing what all you how you all experience that and how you experience the function stack. And I wish you would comment that, because I find it so fascinating that, you know, I use this example all the time that INFJs are really like, we're all the same, really. At the core of who we are. It's really hard to explain, I think, and hard for people to understand, but I feel like if you're a certain personality type, at the core of who you are, you're all really the same. I say this, the best metaphor for this is that all INFJs are the same type of cake. We're all, let's say we're all chocolate cake, right? That's what we really are. But the icing, the decoration, that's what sets us apart. But at the core of who we are, we're really all just chocolate cake. Forgive me if you don't like chocolate cake, or if you have some sort of issue with that and you can't eat it, but I'm sorry, this is the metaphor that I'm using. Actually, I'm not sorry, but forgive me if I have caused you any emotional pain or whatever. Okay, so that being said, I really think that I think it's interesting now to understand that, and then also look at the opposite of who we are, which is the ENTPs or the ENFPs. They're not really opposites. Like, we're also in the core very similar and have very similar just personality traits, but they're kind of like the inverse of us, right? We all know if you all know the function stack, the ENFP is NE, FI, TE, and SI. And the ENTP is NE, NE. Okay, so the ENTP is NETI, FESI. Okay, so ENFPs have TI, TE, and ENTPs have TI, introverted thinking. So I find it really interesting when I come across somebody and I see that they think out loud like an ENFP does, or sometimes even an ENTP, really. I just find that super interesting because, like, I feel like all my thoughts are in here and I keep it to myself. So it's really interesting to see someone just putting it out there. I just feel like it's kind of cheap. Like if you're just thinking, if you're talking and you're thinking at the same time, it just feels cheap to me. I don't know why. And I think this must feel the same way for introverted feelers when extroverted feelers like me talk about feelings like, oh, you feel this way, I feel this way. It just kind of feels cheap because it's something that's so personal and internal that when somebody talks about it, it really just feels like it's not that, it just feels not genuine in some way. But when it's kind of like, the thing is though, with an INFJ, when we only appreciate it when people extrovert a very internal part of a part of us, when it's like top of the line. So when an INFJ sees an ENTP extroverted intuiting, we recognize that that's like the cream of the crop, extroverted intuition. That's intuition at the cream of the crop. It's just the extroverted version of that. And the ENTP and the ENFP also recognizes that in the INFJ and the INTJ, they see that the NI is the introverted intuition is the cream of the crop. They tell you these things and they can see that, dang, these ideas are legit. These are fire ideas from these people, and they recognize it. They see it. They hear it in your voice, and they instantly see. They just see it from your aura, right? They can tell right away. They can feel that introverted intuition aura, and we appreciate it so much from the other types. So like when I see it in an ENTP, doing something that is their true selves, right? They're truly authentically being who they are. I do appreciate it a lot because I see like, oh, their extroverted intuition that's like the best it can ever get in any human being, which comes down to a point a point that I want to make from all of this, right? Because the introverted intuition is kicking in. All these things that I'm telling you, right? There's like understanding the function stacks and knowing what your function stacks are, seeing in other people, it all goes back to the importance of authenticity. It is so important that we are authentic with ourselves and we're true to who we truly are and present ourselves exactly the way we are, because not only will it attract the right people in your life, right? Like for me, I am trying to be authentic as possible, and I want to show and demonstrate the authentic self of me, or not even demonstrate, or just be me, right? And so it's important for everybody to really just be themselves, and this is because then it makes things good for everybody, right? You can be yourself, you can be the best of who you are, and then the people that admire it the most will see that and they will be attracted to that, and it's a win-win for everybody, right? And that's what we want in life. Hence why it's important to learn MBTI, in my opinion. It's important to understand it, to at least be aware of it, right? Because then we can truly authentically be ourselves and lean into it rather than avoid it or try to hide it and try to hide who we truly are and just fall to the trends or fall to what the society expects of us, and we deny the true part of who we truly are, right? So this is my pitch for all of you who haven't studied MBTI. If you're watching this video for the first time, that it's good shit, okay? It's good shit. I promise you, it is not going to be a waste of your time. I promise you, you will learn something from it. Even if you just give it an hour of your entire life to just go through MBTI and learn about the different personality types and what it is, I'm happy, okay? Because you will benefit from it. How deep you want to go is up to you, but I really highly recommend it. I'm still trying to get deeper into it, I really am, but sometimes I'm just like, I don't know where to go for information. So if anybody has more good information for me to read, actually, please drop a comment below. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching this video. I do have a Discord, and I'm trying to get people on it. I'm just gonna put a link below and join it if you will, but I'm going to try to develop that a little bit more so we have a place where everybody can share their ideas and about just being an INFJ or MBTI in general, and we can start to connect a little bit more. All right, thank you so much for watching this video, and I hope you learned something from it, and I will catch you in the next video. Bye.